Retro.
And welcome everybody to another episode of the Animaniacast.
It's warm!
And wet. And the perfect investment opportunity.
Josh Puller, shrinking pool realty and oil spilling?
Oh, that should say drilling. So I assume you're here for the timeshare presentation? If you like, I can sing it to you as a song. Or if a song's not to your liking, I could eat you.
We'll take the song!
Huh. Not everybody goes for the song, but okay.
And welcome everybody once again to the Animaniacast. This, of course, is the podcast that's dedicated to the animated television series Animaniacs, as well as other shows within the Rueggerverse, such as Tiny Toon Adventures, Pinky the Brain, and Freakazoid. And today we are talking about episode 7 of the 3rd season of the Animaniacs Reboot. That's right. Episode 33 for all of you guys counting all the episodes. I am Joey, and joining me once again are my co-hosts. There's my brother Nathan.
I am? Right, I am. See, Joey, I can keep a secret. I mean, what secret? I'm not keeping any secrets, especially any secrets about Kelly.
And across the country, in Georgia, there's Kelly.
Raising my eyebrow, Nathan. Hello.
Yeah, suspicious.
Hi, y'all.
Well, yes, we're back and we're talking about reboot stuff, reboot episodes, and this one, the one we're talking about today, has, boy oh boy, this could not have been more appropriate on the time we're recording this in July of 2023. Global Warnering, and then Lawn in 60 Seconds, All's Fair in Love and Door, and Cute Things That Can Kill You. And boy, oh boy, if you were to describe this episode, just a few words, what would you say about this episode, Nathan?
Oh, it's getting hot out there, I guess.
Not an I guess. It definitely is. I can confirm this. Kelly, what about you?
It had a song in it.
It did have a song in it. It had
2 songs.
It's true. It had 2 songs. So that's something. Well, as we all know, today's we're going to get into I'll tell you what. We're going to get into our discussion of today's episode in just a few moments. But before we do, something big just dropped on the day we're recording this, and that is the opening theme song to the Tiny Toons Looniversity show, which is coming in the fall to HBO Max not HBO Max anymore, just Max.
Which is stupid because it always makes me think of Cinemax.
Which
is it just me?
Well, they own Cinemax too, so I guess that worked.
Yeah, but it takes away from the HBO branding, if you ask me. But anyway, nobody asked me.
That's true. This is
I think
true.
they're doing that on purpose. I think HBO is seen as the elite, so if they want to be more inclusive, they don't want.
I never even watched Cinemax, though. I mein, it was always like Showtime or HBO or Stars.
Well, it's Max.
Yeah, I don't like it.
And I guess I'm guessing because it's going to be on Max and Cartoon Network, is that the episodes might just drop 1 per week. What I'm assuming.
I can make it more palatable though, because I can be like, I can think in my head, oh hi, give my best to Max. Okay, bye, bye, Steven.
There you go. See, it's all good now.
But now I'll never
Max
not
Powers.
Now I'll never not think about that when I think of Max.
And which one's Max Power, Nathan?
That was Homer's name. He got it from a hairdryer.
So we're doing Tiny Toons and Simpsons references all in the Animaniacs podcast here. So let's go ahead and watch this trailer together. And Nathan, Kelly, hopefully you'll be able to hear the audio. Can you both see the video?
I like that image.
Yeah,
like
the opening
statues. That's
the
pretty
opening
cool.
shot. Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll run through it once, and then we'll kind of just, we're not going to go, frame through frame, but we'll just kind of talk about moments that we liked, things that we liked or noticed. So here we go.
We're tiny, we're toony, we're learning to be loony, and we'll be famous soon at the college of our dreams. We got our admissions
And booked them for tuition.
fulfilling our ambitions with a faculty esteemed.
At University, we'll earn our 2 degree.
The teaching staff's been getting less.
Since 1933. We're classmates and roommates.
We've paid the out-of-state
Let's
rates.
grab our books and go classes about to start.
They're furry, they're funny.
We're Babs and Buster Bunny.
Their comedy is funny and a friendship's guaranteed.
Captain is buried and Sweetie's a tough birdie. And if you're lucky, Plucky is the perfect
Enemy!
So here's where the greatest tunes all got their humble start. There's quite a lot of history from teaching loony arts. We're tiny, we're teeny, we can't wait to be loony. When the bell has hit, come in and join the fun. And now class has begun.
Well, there you go. That was the thing. What are your first thoughts, guys?
Well, I thought it was weird that like they used some of the original lyrics, but then changed other parts of the song because it's like I was like, all right, yeah, it's the same song, and then I'm like, now I don't know the words because this is all new to me. But then I recognize that line, and it was just kind of weird.
Yeah, the weird combination of the thing. You kept waiting for Montana Max has money and all that, but nope. So it's I think it's enough that Tom Ruegger's going to get a check.
That's what I was going to ask. Yeah, I was like, is he getting residuals for that?
I would think he would, because I think they have enough
really
similarities.
Close. Although he didn't write like the melody, or
he didn't write the melody, but he wrote the lyrics.
He always he's like the I'm trying to think of artists that
lyricist
split that up. Yeah, he's the lyricist, but
I think there's still a lot of the similarities there are too big to not say, give him some sort of check, but who knows? With the way the producers are these days. I don't know. I will say, like, just kind of going through the shots right here, I think that there's a weird shot. Oh, I see. I was wondering who is kissing Hampton.
Hampton,
and I can't. I guess
mom?
that it's either his mom or a girl that really likes him. But I'm guessing it's his mom.
I would think
it
it's
is
his
weird
mom.
it's weird that they're supposed to be college kids and they're all so short. That is the weird thing. I can't get over that. I don't like they're in college.
I mean,
Well,
there's some college people that went to college that are no longer college age that are short.
The
Like
brother
me.
and sister. This whole show is going to be, it's not a continuation. It's a
a hard
reboot, I guess, right? Yeah, so it's like very much
complete reboot, as rebootish as you can, so that way they could get rid of the Buster and Babs
no relation,
relation thing. But that has got to be like, that will forever be the weirdest decision for me, because then out of context, when you're a lot of people, I mean, I've met so many people now who have found out about Animaniacs through watching the reboot and then went and watched the original series. And so you would think if this show is successful and people like it, people would want to watch the original too.
Yeah.
And then go.
Well, it's just like, I can see it's like, we don't want them to be like boyfriend and girlfriend, but you don't need to do that. You can be not related to someone and not be dating them.
They did say they're friends. I mean, maybe they got rid of that, and that maybe in some rewrites, maybe they're just friends now.
That's true.
It seems like it could be an easy fix.
Yeah,
especially the way that fans reacted when that first hit last year. People were like, "What?" Like, I don't think if they had anticipated that being a problem as much as they did, as it was, I don't think they would have made that change.
Yeah, I mean, as long as there's not like a segment where they're both going home to their parent, that's like that would make it they would just be like, we got to cut that out.
Yeah, exactly.
Because like
just edit around it. References to them being brother and sister. It's like rewrite a few scenes, reanimate a couple things.
Right.
But you don't have to
make
change
one of their
the
parents
whole
are
thing.
dead. My parents are dead, and There we go. And that way, you never see my parents, and I would just go over to your parents because I'm close to your family. Like whatever. Silly.
Well, I think. I mean, it looks promising. The main thing I'm looking at, a lot of people, it looks good. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the animation looks good.
Animation,
I
the
like
styling
the
of it.
voice. I thought Bugs and Babs and Buster Bunny sound good.
Yeah, I agree. I'm on board with the voices and everything like that.
Yeah, the animation's very much in the style of the original.
Yeah.
It's very colorful. Lots of bright colors and everything.
I'm a big fan of I'm not a big fan of the show, but I've seen the whole 2 seasons of it now on Netflix of Is It Cake? And I've learned that you can see a thing and say, wow, that looks so good. And then it turns out to just be an actual football and not even a cake. Or
cake
vice
or
versa.
death.
You know what I mean? Cake or death. Mm-hmm. And so, well, you know what I mean? Like, you can look at this and go, that looks so good. That looks like the show. But then you actually look what's inside, and it's not what you expected. So from what we have seen, from what was leaked about a few months ago, it was an incomplete episode. The dialogue was, a lot of it was temp tracks. A lot of the sound effects, etc., were all temp. But the plot itself of that specific episode was very much kind of like a bad sitcom,
Yeah.
Not, and it's like, you can have little visual send-ups, such as Bugs Bunny giving Calamity Coyote the magic helmet from What's Opera Doc, and he rides that little horse and everything.
Cool.
Like, that was cool, but too. It's like, I think what they're not going to do, which I'm not expecting them to do, is little one-off little short cartoons like they did in the original, where it was a quick 6-7 minute cartoon, and a lot of it was copying an original Looney Tunes cartoon.
It's kind of like opposite of what the Animaniacs or they're doing.
Yeah,
it seems more like episode to episodes, and they're all like based on the leaked one. Yeah, it was like
right. Based on the leaked one, it looks like each one's going to be a 22-minute, whatever, just one.
So like the Pinky and the Brain,
right? But just a long form thing.
But even Pinky and the Brain sometimes would do 2 half episodes in the same.
Yeah.
Segment.
So I think I'm going to miss out on that, and that's going to, if anything, I mean, not that the original Tiny Toon Adventures didn't do that every now and then as well.
Yeah, they did that occasionally. That's why
it was
hard
usually
to say
Buster and Babs
episode.
Introducing the different cartoons, and
and they try to get them all thematically
somehow try to figure out a way to get them getting connected together, and sometimes it worked and sometimes not so much, but whatever. We'll have to wait and see. I mean, visually looks great. The song, hey, great. But it's what's inside that counts. And when the people that are, the ones writing it and everything are completely different than the ones who are doing it the first, time around.
A lot of times it's the producer or, the people that are even higher up than the writers, where they're like not letting the...
Who are giving those suggestions.
Yeah, exactly. We got to make them brother and sister. And it's like, okay, I guess so. It's like... Yeah.
Somebody...
that was a decision.
More shadows. We need more shadows.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Right?
Definitely more shadows.
Well, the way that these shows are developed now is very different, though, than back in the 90s when it was Animaniacs and Tiny Toons, where it was just the writers, and then they would send it off to Spielberg, and Spielberg would go, oh, yeah, this is good here, or change this here or there. Now it's a whole hierarchy of people putting in their notes.
They all have their own special things that they want. Yeah.
And put their own fingerprint on it. And before you know it, it's so convoluted and it has to hit so many different things that, we'll just have to wait and see, though. Could be great, could not. We'll see. And we'll at least review a couple episodes. We'll see whether or not...
the better they are, the more we'll review. So.
Exactly. Will we review the whole series, or will we just say one and done? Well, we'll find out in the months to come. All right, well, let's go ahead and get to our episode discussion. So before we do, Nathan, this episode, as we all know out there in Animaniacs fandom, the Fanimaniacs, right? Know that this episode premiered on February 17th of 2023. So we got to get our February 17th fun facts. What do we got, Nathan? What's our theme song, I should say?
It's February, it's 17th, it's everywhere, it's February 17th of 2023, it's when it came out, and here's the information that you want to know. Something else happened and I don't even know. Rhyming no with another no. That works in songs and it works here. Thank you for listening to the February 17th song about 2023.
Well, that's great. And we won't have to give Tom a check on that one because lyrics were completely different. We might have to work with Warner Brothers, though, about the tune. Well,
I bet some of the notes were different.
Okay, yes, true.
I think I sang different notes pretty much.
It's true. We were doing a total like Richard Stone thing right there, changing the notes, inverting them.
I went up when I should have gone down. So,
It's all good.
Oh, man. Okay. So, hey, in weather news, February 17th, 1962, there was some very heavy snow, around 20 to 30 inches, that fell around the southern east half of South Dakota. One location got up to 44 inches of snowfall from the storm. Everything was shut down to the storm, including roads, schools, and businesses. It's a little...
I thought only the South shut down during snowstorms.
There you go. No, South Dakota got it. It got, that's to the south. It's southern eastern South Dakota. So that's you can't get much more south than South Dakota, right?
South Dakota.
Oh, yeah, sure.
It's practically the South up there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's there in the name.
We got some movies. In 2012, we learn about the Clock family, who are 4-inch tall, kind of like Pinky and the Brain. They reside in the home of humans. This is the movie The Secret World of Arrietty, I think is how you pronounce it. Also, 2006, Paul Walker is among 3 members of a scientific expedition in Antarctica who are forced to separate from their sled dogs after a terrible accident in 8 Below.
Oh, God. My mother called me crying when she saw that movie. And I was like, that doesn't sound like something I want to see.
Well, now you know what day it was on.
I was like, what are
February
you doing?
17th, 2006.
And she was like, I was just watching this movie called 8 Below. And I was like, wow, that sounds like a movie not to watch, Mom.
Just see Snow Dogs with Cuba Gooding Jr.
Yeah,
no.
That sounds like a much more...
I try to just avoid movies altogether with dogs in them.
Except
for John Wick.
Yeah. Revenge.
But only because of what he does.
Yeah, exactly. Good count. Well, there you go, Nathan. I loved your connections right there, especially the fact that there was a movie with small people in it and Pinky and the Brain are small. So therefore, this is
the first episode that I was like, oh, finally, Pinky and the Brain are in it. I can use this.
You can finally use that small one. Very cool. Well, let's go ahead and get... Yes.
Oh, I was like, who's in this movie? Okay, never. So The Secret World of Arrietty, that's like a little anime movie. So if someone was
wondering, there we go. I'm sure. Yeah. See, people know about it. Somebody out there knows.
Sure. I've heard of it. I haven't seen it.
There you go.
But...
Never even heard of it. So that's you got me beat on that too. Well, let's go in and get to our discussion. We have episode 33, aka episode 7, season 3, and let's start off with the variable verse, which was Cleft in Twainy.
Cleft in Twainy.
And Wacko's doing like a magic trick. He's sawing Yakko in half, and I guess it worked. I don't know. Hopefully, he can really saw his brother in half. They're cartoons, so, like, yeah. That was that. Can't really think of anything more to say.
I never heard of... I'm not familiar with Cleft in Twain, but I guess
Cut
it's like...
in two, basically.
Yeah. Was it originated by Shakespeare, or is it even older than that?
It sounds very Shakespearean.
He says, "Thou hast cleft my heart in twain." But I mean,
I've heard it, but said before, so I'm sure it's originally.
It was in Hamlet, I guess.
Yeah, cleft in twain. Yeah. Either that, or I've heard it. Little kids talk about twains when they're talking about their toys. But
well, and I think cleft is like the past.
Cleave.
Yeah, past of cleave. So you hear people cleave a skull. Like they just. Mm-hmm.
So this might be our most verbally complex variable verse of the reboot, is what we're saying. Cleft in Twainy. There we go. Well, let's go and get to our discussion of the first major segment, and it is Global Warnering. And Global Warnering was written by Brad DePrima, and it was directed by Brett Varon. And Kelly, why don't you tell us what happens in Global Warnering?
Okay. So it's hot. It's hot around the Warner Tower, and the Warner siblings are, they're practically melting. It's just so hot. And they don't know what to do because it's ridiculous. And they see a centaur mock Ruffalo riding a horse for some random reason. And then they see water coming out of the top of the bus stop.
I think I'm seeing things.
No, that really is a centaur mock Ruffalo riding a horse.
No, the bus stop.
Oh, where are all these people going?
It's annoying. But so they decide to get on an Arctic cruise because that sounds nice and cool, and going to the Arctic would be very refreshing and not so hot. And they get there, and it's hot at the Arctic. And there's like a beach, and the polar bears are hot, and it's kind of like a resort area there. And they run into this guy. He sees the Arctic as an investment opportunity, and his name is Josh Polar, and he's trying to sell them a timeshare. And then there's a song, and it's basically about global warming and how he's trying to take advantage of people after the song that they taught him the errors of his ways, and now he should charge more for the timeshares because the earth is in such bad shape. And that's about it. There's not much to say about it.
Yeah.
I actually could say a lot about it, but as far as the synopsis of it, that's all I gotta say.
Well, they get rid of him by having him get swallowed by a killer whale, which you got to watch out for those killer whales these days.
Them orcas, right?
Orcas, they're eating they're bashing into everything.
Attacking the boats.
Yeah, attacking the boats. They're eating polar bears with one bite.
I feel like we were pretty nice about this whole thing. We didn't call him any names.
And we didn't break him down psychologically with a series of zany antics and frivolous questions?
I didn't even get to use this.
We were good, and look where that got us.
Plan B.
Plan B.
Plan B.
Wait! Take me back! I'll throw in a non-recyclable single-use dishwasher with genuine white rhino ivory inlay, powered by baby seal oil.
And then they do a bunch of little, preachy. It self-identifies it at the bottom, saying this is a preachy ending or whatever.
Yeah, that's what I wrote. I actually made some notes, and it was like preachy. Which the message is perfectly fine.
Yes.
You said it's 107 degrees where you are in Arizona right now, and Georgia has had some of the highest temperatures ever on record in the last couple of weeks. So it ain't great, but it wasn't fun. Yeah,
it certainly was. I wrote depressing on my notes with this. And I was a little I don't know how this I think, well, I'll get into more of the critiques of this cartoon in just a moment, but yeah, they kind of end it with saying, hey, lawmakers do something and oil companies do something because we're waiting, and they're just on a little ice cube about to fall into the sea.
Because, lawmakers and government officials are totally watching Animaniacs to get some ideas.
Exactly. We're going to make a difference. Yeah.
I guess you got to try.
Yeah. I guess this one, the only other time Animaniacs kind of did this kind of thing, but it was totally tongue-in-cheek, was in the original run when they did a very special episode. And it was like, what are we doing? Oh, I'm going over here and I'm recycling my stuff. And it was funny, but also even that wasn't that funny. Something about doing environmental messages on a cartoon it seems like they didn't even try to be that funny about it. Like, you know, I don't know. Nathan, what did you notice about this cartoon that you liked, or just whatever?
Yeah, it's really hot. I think I believe that global warming is a thing.
How dare you?
Controversial, and maybe it's just because it's summer, but yeah, it's really hot. And so yeah, I was watching this. I'm like, yeah, I feel that, and yeah. So, but yeah, I don't know. It was. I was watching it the second time with the audio description, and I laughed really loud when the audio description guy just like preachy stuff going on here. Just like,
wow.
It doesn't say like text at the bottom reads it.
Text
It
at the
just
bottom
says it. And I'm like, it was just like,
so the audio description guy is just like,
probably
this is just me breaking in, folks. Listen.
Yeah, like, sorry, this is super preachy. Like, I thought it was the funniest part of the episode for me. Hearing him say that about the episode, I was like, oh, that's really good.
So, what are we gonna do now?
Well, Dot, I'm glad you asked. There's plenty more we could be doing to reverse climate change, like wasting less food and water and switching to energy-efficient appliances.
Preachy ending warning.
Did you know, Ellie?
The voice of the polar bear sounded familiar. It was the guy who played Elon Musk, I think, in the three episodes ago.
Yes, indeed. So. Yeah, the song was kind of catchy. It's in my head. I don't know if I necessarily like it, but it's definitely been in my head ever since I've seen the episode. There were a few jokes that worked that kind of made me chuckle. The whole thing of like, let's go to, he was trying to say, let's go to the Arctic. And they're like, we're going to become bus drivers.
You thinking what I'm thinking?
Quit our jobs and become bus drivers.
Nope.
Steal that guy's bus and become bus drivers?
Not even close.
Steal a bus so we can drive to bus driving school and become bus drivers?
I'm going to stop you there. We're going to the Arctic.
It's like, that was cute. I like that.
Yeah, that's all right.
I like the thing where they're showing them move kind of like Indiana Jones, but really they're just playing a board game or something with boats and trains and buses or something. That was pretty good. There was a whole thing about, you know, what are leftovers, which Wacko doesn't really get the concept of, which, you know, so there's some stuff that's good, but, there's other jokes that just, for me, didn't work. Like the Mark Ruffalo thing is just so, again, I like weird humor, but it's just felt out of place and just too weird. Like, it's Mark Ruffalo, centaur on a horse.
Almost like that was like an inside joke or something. Like,
yeah, it's like
from the writers. I don't know.
Family Guy kind of thing or something.
Yeah, it's certainly the influences there of that kind of humor is just like, I don't know, that's not hitting it. Just that fell flat for me. I was just like,
I mean, the visual was interesting.
Yeah, it was definitely an interesting visual, but it was just a joke that fell flat. And overall, it was just kind of like, it's kind of depressing, especially when it is so hot right now. So
yeah, and there's like there's like things. Oh, you could do that, but like really, it does need to be like on a more global scale.
And that's the thing.
Putting the onus on us as individuals. Yes. It's like, we can only do so much,
right?
And it really does need to be like.
I agree. And I wrote that down too.
So
that there wasn't enough.
Vote if you can vote for things.
Yes, and I agree. I think there was not enough of pointing fingers at the corporations themselves that are making the things, and the whole thing of recycling to begin with. A lot of it came from the corporations. Just go look, recycle the plastic, and it's fine. It's you. You can save the environment by recycling. You're the problem. It's like, wait, maybe you shouldn't be doing so much plastics.
Yeah, don't use so much plastic. And also, like, make it so that these things can actually get recycled. Because a lot of these plastics, like, they can't actually get recycled. You know,
they just end up in the dump. They end up in a landfill anyway. So I thought the ending message also was just like it was just like, you can get this kind of light bulb. And so the stuff they were preachy about wasn't even necessary. Like, that's
finish
true,
your food. And it's like, I don't think
that's not really, that's going to decompose.
Fact that the kid's not eating his dinner all the thing is not the main issue with global warming. Like,
right. I could recycle things all day and it's not going to stop the planet from overheating. But like you said, if they talked more about voting or, things like that, about get the right politics.
That was
they did talk about
part.
the politicians should do something.
Yeah.
But they didn't say we should put politicians in power that want to do something. That would be more of a whatever. Anyway, let's move on. That was that. Let's move on to Lawn in 60 Seconds.
From the smallest of seeds, something mighty can bloom, like the love and connection between me and you.
Lawn in 60 Seconds was written by Kathleen Chen and Brian Polk. It was directed by Brett Varon. And in this, it's a very sweet short story about, two blades of grass, and they have a little baby blade of grass, and they teach it grows up, and it has to learn how to shave. It goes to graduates grass school and gets married, and they have a little grass baby, and then right at the end, this beautiful song that's being played, and it kind of sounds like a Family Ties-ish kind of theme song for like an 80s sitcom to me. It was very sappy. They get run over by a lawnmower.
Oh, we grow together as one.
None of that happens to grass, so you might as well cut it all down. Lawn Shot Mowers. Visit your local lawn equipment dealer today.
That did make me chuckle. I gotta admit that was, I didn't see that coming. I thought it was kind of like, almost like one of the original Animaniacs series where it was just like, this is the thing of the gold paper. Let's watch the gold paper go around.
Yeah, I thought that too.
And it was like, okay, this is going to be a sappy, but I was admiring it for the fact that, they're going for an old school feel on this one, like Wings Take Heart or something, where we're just going to have this short little sweet thing about grass. Nope, they get run over. And it's like,
yeah, but
okay,
I never liked those episodes.
No,
so I was like,
Exactly. So when they got run over by a lawnmower, it did make me chuckle. And the fact that it was just a commercial, it's like, yeah, that's kind of funny. But also there's in one shot, there's not only a house key, but also a wedding ring and a bottle cap. There's a bunch of stuff in one location. These people got to rake their lawn or something. Get a metal detector out there before you start mowing. You're going to ruin your lawnmower. Anyway, what'd you guys think about it? Anything that you...
Powerful lawnmower.
Kelly, did you notice anything that you liked or anything about this short grass
my
scene?
eyes glazed over watching it because I was like, some sappy sentimental something or other. And then I saw the lawnmower. I'm like, oh, okay, I get it. And like my dark humor kind of did chuckle at that because I was like, they got mowed down. And then I felt kind of bad for a second. So I was very conflicted. I felt a lot of conflict.
Yeah. Nathan, what about you?
I believe the voice at the end.
Yeah.
I think that was the voice of John Damasio.
Oh, it could have been. He did voice Ben Franklin.
In this. Well, and he voiced the narrator in this, which I don't know who the narrator was. I know there's a narrator and an announcer, but the announcer is a woman. So
yeah. Well, she must have done so he did the narration of the animals, lawnmower. Right? She did the cute things at the end.
Yeah. So
yeah, just John DiMaggio.
Like, ooh, he does this little 5.
Yeah, he's good at that kind of a voice.
Yeah, I'm a rusty.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I was like, oh, cool. John DiMaggio.
The change in mood was nice.
Yeah. And it was a fun I enjoyed this one. It was nice and short. And,
okay.
Yeah.
Well, let's move on to All's Fair in Love and Door. All's Fair in Love and Door was written by Kathleen Chen and Brian Polk and was directed by Brett Varon. And Nathan, what can you tell us? What happens in All's Fair in Love and Door?
Oh, man. Brain has come up with a new invention. This one makes people lose their hair. He tries it out, and Pinky goes bald, as well. His walnut also loses the top of its shell for some reason. I don't know.
Which kind of disturbs me, because now I think that everything's going to lose the top of everything. Like, that doesn't have any hair on it, Brain, but
I
okay.
don't know. But, there's an issue with the thing. The panel keeps falling out. And so what he's going to do is he's going to hammer it together, even though there's clearly screws there. I don't know.
The only trouble is I seem to have misplaced my hammer.
Oh, dear. Have you tried calling it? No, wait. Play hard to get, Brain. Wait a few days and let it call you.
He's going to hammer it, but he doesn't know where his hammer is. He's going to go to the store, but Pinky, do not open that green door at all when I'm gone. And of course, Pinky's like, oh no, I got to open this green door. So there's a green door in the middle of the room. And what is Pinky going to do? Not open the door? So Pinky decides he's going to open the door because he starts freaking out about not opening the door. And he just runs through the thing. So he runs in and he's like, he finds himself in his house. It's like weird. He looks at his photo. It's a photo of Brain and Julie married. Julia married. They're married. They're in a photo, and then he gets whacked in the back of the head, unconscious. That's black. We go back, and we're back in the lab. And Brain has brought his hammer back. He's ready to finish banging on this box to get it to work properly or something. And he realizes that Pinky's missing, and also the green door is wide open. So he goes in there. And his outfit changes now. He's wearing glasses and like cardigan sweater kind of thing, So he's like, looks like he's a married husband man. And Julia comes out and reads him like lovely Brain. So before Julia's been very mean and angry, but now she's very happy and in love with the Brain.
How was your day, my sweet?
Productive, actually. I worked on a book proposal called The Electrician Again to fix the light in the garage. I'm beginning to think we should tear that old thing down and turn it into a greenhouse. Don't you think it would be lovely to grow our own tomatillos for salsa verde?
She tells them all about her day and that she even caught an intruder who was in the closet. She opens and Pinky's like, whoa, what intruder? Or he's worried about an intruder. So, but it was him. Brain says that this is my coworker, Pinky. I'm going to give him a tour of the house. And on the tour, he tells Pinky that this is all artificial intelligence. This is all just a fake matrixy world that he created.
It's not real. It's an illusion. This is an immersive simulation I created to see what would happen if Julia and I had set aside our differences and settled into a life of marital bliss.
What? So that is not the real Julia out there? Well, no wonder she doesn't remember all the 2 times she tried to kill us.
But Julia overhears this. She finds out that she is an AI version of the real Julia, and she goes haywire and kicks him out of the door and then starts chasing him around in this giant mech suit that she's able to create by controlling all the electronics within the room. She explains that once she figured out she was part of this matrix, she was able to hack the firewall system.
What's happening?
Don't you know, Brain? 50% of marriages end in me smashing you to bits!
Then she's about to crush Brain when Brain's like, oh, I have one thing. I just need to tell Pinky one thing. And he's like, Pinky, just don't smash your piggy bank, which is inside the Julia mech suit. And Pinky's like, well, now I want to smash that piggy bank that's inside the Julia mech suit. And then he starts smashing with the hammer that Brain got from the beginning of the episode. Call back and then the Julia is destroyed. Pinky is holding Brain's hand and he gets uncomfortable. And then they decide that they're done with trying to rule the world tonight. They'll do it tomorrow. They throw the robot out through the trash chute. And oh my gosh, the screen turns on. AI version Julia is still alive, but then she reboots. And then the real Julia walks up and finishes whatever robot Julia was saying because she just happened to be in the neighborhood, I guess. There we go.
You may have short-circuited me this time, Brain, but I'm already plotting a new way to destroy you! Oh, shoot! I'm rebooting. Wait, I'm not done telling you how!
how we're going to take over the world.
She heard some commotion over at the Acme Labs.
Walking by, I'm like, oh, look at this.
And then we'll never find out what happens. It was just kind of left like, we'll rule the world together.
Maybe she's in the next 3 episodes. We don't know. None of us have seen.
It's been spoiled for us already by the Pointcast. We'll be spoiler. We'll be on the Pointcast coming up at some point in the future.
Well, I wasn't paying attention to the Pointcast.
Okay, well, I was reading their notes. They're incredibly amazing, detailed notes.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, and I saw that Julia does this thing and then doesn't show up again. I'm like, oh well, things are spoiling it, Pointcast. I mean, how inconsiderate of them.
I think I skimmed over that part because I was like, oh, I don't want to know what happens to Julia.
Oh, I couldn't help myself but read. Yeah, so this is the last we see of Julia for the season. Hate to spoil it for those 2-3 people that are watching it. It's very slow pace along with us, but it's true. At least that's what I read. So yeah, which is kind of disappointing because like, oh, that would have been kind of an interesting team up of like kind of a Pinky and the Brainish kind of thing with Julia and her AI version of herself. But yeah, this episode, when I originally saw the stuff of it, I thought it was going to be like a Spider-Verse kind of thing, like alternate universe, but it was just a Matrix kind of thing more than that. Not really any big references other than a reference to Run Pinky Run, which was in season 2 of the reboot. And yeah, that's pretty much it, I guess, right? Other than the title parroting All's Fair in Love and War instead of Love and Door. But what are some things that you noticed in this episode that you liked, etc.? Kelly, let's start with you.
I thought Brian was cute with his little glasses and his little suit. I mean, because usually when we see him dressed up, he's using like a mecha suit or something,
right?
And but he looked very, very studious, very, very cute. I thought
it was it was weird to see him in like that little clothes and everything to see what it would be like. But I'm like, but it wouldn't be like this because you'd be in you're in a small house in a small neighborhood. Is this?
They could make a small house in
a small neighborhood.
Yeah, like where did their parents live or something? Right?
True, it's true. I guess the brain could have put aside his differences and then made a whole housing development for him as Julia that they could have lived in and have everything to scale. Sure, could have worked. There was definitely the most shipping of any Pinky and the Brain that I've seen in this. Yeah. Definitely. Not just the holding the hand and the brain, going, oh my goodness, I don't know how to feel about this. But like the brain, there were some sweet moments in it, like when the brain covers up Pinky, to try to hide him, to protect him, and then goes shh, and then does a whole heroic backward drop thing. And there was this, the whole thing of like, it was almost like the Pinky and the Brain had this secret relationship that they were hiding from Julia, like this love relationship. Like, you should come to our house or our place and everything.
It was even more apparent in the original storyboard. You can watch the whole thing on YouTube. They have the storyboard artist has all her original drawings of. It's kind of interesting. Like, I would definitely recommend checking it out.
Well, and that's the thing. It's like, I know that Rob and Maurice, I know we talked to Maurice ahead of time about, after recording with him on one of the last times he was on, we had mentioned this shipping thing, and I think he didn't really sound like he was really aware of it as much as we are.
Yeah, a lot of it's in the animation. Like in the scene where Pinky Purse finds out about Julia, like them getting married, and Brain's like describing her perfect jaw structure and things like in the storyboard, like he's like pointing at himself, like oh. And then the dinner scene, Pinky's like in the actual episode, Pinky's like accidentally giving these things away. And the storyboard, Pinky's like doing it on purpose. Like the way it's drawn, he's also upset and like picking at his food, he's not eating it. And then like he has angry face, like oh, well, you should come by our house next time. He's kind of saying it like that. And
Interesting.
so it's like, it's a whole different, it puts a different intent on that scene.
Yeah. Yeah, I was thinking about that when I was watching this, because I think Maurice and Rob don't see them as a gay couple, but the artists and everything after they're done recording, because when you just listen to the lines themselves, and they don't know what it's going to look like in the final product. You're only 50% there, and even that visual product, as you can see right there with storyboards and everything, changes quite a bit. Depending on what they want to pump up and tone down and everything like that. So,
did you see her storyboard? Like, she wrote on Tumblr a little something about the.
Yeah, let me open this up here.
So here, I'll just read it. So, according to the storyboard artist Lisa Vanderberg, she interpreted the door as a metaphor for Brain being in the closet and boarded the episode to reflect that. So I'm like, okay,
there we go. All right. So yeah, and I could see, there is definitely, she puts Pinky in the closet and
he puts Pinky in the closet, yeah. And the storyboard, Brain comes in and Pinky's already like just in the middle of the room, and Julia's got like a knife to him. So it's a little like
interesting. So this could have been
definitely watch the storyboard if you have
all right,
time.
we'll put that in the show notes so that people can check that out.
It takes like 5 minutes, but it's like. And it's just not colored, but all the voices are there still.
Well, it shows you how you can reinterpret scenes and how they change.
Yeah, just by like changing. Yeah, it really changes.
Interesting. Interesting. Okay, but yeah, there's I mean, I do like it really does kind of like go right on the edge of making them a couple kind of thing in this one. Like, how do I get over my ex? And then he realizes, oh, I got Pinky. And he kind of he really does look at Pinky like with love in this one. Like he realizes he has Pinky and that's all he needs. And I did like the fact that the Brain did show remorse for what he did to Julia. Now, how much of that was originally intended versus how much I think this is the writers responding to some of the reaction that I know especially I had, which was, what are you doing to the Brain? Like, this is awful.
I was a little worried at the beginning. I thought it was like more terrible. Like, oh, I captured her and mind controlled her again to be happy. I was like, oh my gosh.
Don't
Brain,
do this.
No.
Not this again. Yeah.
And I was like, I guess this is better to create a new version. Like, but still, I'm like, it's a little iffy. But
he's still trying to control her.
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
true. It was still
or a form of her.
Right. The irony of it is you're still doing it again, Brain. You're doing it with an AI version now, but yes, you're still trapping this person into behaving a certain way. So it's a little problematic, not as, because at least he's showing remorse, and just ironically, he still can't get it right.
Yeah.
Makes things worse.
If the AI system doesn't have self-awareness or something, like if it gets to that point where you're like in that gray zone of when it becomes human, like how much artificial intelligence does it have? And I think it is. It seems like it is at that level, right?
Well, again, another appropriate thing that AI is so much in the news these days, and here we are talking about it in Animaniacs. So it's
Julia's last name. Our last two letters are AI. In a different
reversed. Very good. That's why you just call her Julie, because you knew that those last letters AI. That's what. Oh man. All right, moving on. Let's go to our last segment, and that's cute things that can kill you.
Cute things that can kill you.
Cute Things That Can Kill You was a story by Katie Rice. It was a teleplay by James Butler and directed by Katie Rice. And in this, it's kind of reminded me of useless facts from Animaniacs, where they're just kind of showing, here's some different animals that can kill you. And it's kind of done in comedic ways, where it's this kind of, what is that first thing? The loris, which kind of looks like a lemur, and it can bite you and it could give you, what is it? Decompose your skin
rotting
or something.
Flesh.
Yeah. And then a pufferfish.
That was cool.
A pufferfish can poison you. And then the erratic, my favorite thing that made me laugh was the erratic behavior of a deer, which people do get killed by deer all the time. And you think, oh, it's going to stab the kid with its antlers. No, it's just a deer not paying attention while driving, just eating ice cream, and then like hits the kid with a car. The end. But yeah, I liked how the deer had a personalized license plate of Buck Wild on their thing. I was like, nah, that's kind of funny stuff, cute, and it was over. It was pretty quick. Anything you noticed in this that you liked, Nathan?
I went in and just went some trivia. So I went in to Google each of these things. I was like, I'll put some actual things in these. And the one for deer made me laugh. It's like every year, well, it's kind of sad. Every year up to 200 people are killed by deer, mostly in car accidents. And I was like,
yeah, not the one you would think, but yes.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm like, I'm wondering if that's what they saw. And they're like, oh, what if the deer was shaving the kid?
What if they reverse it?
But yeah, I got facts about pufferfish and lorises too. If we want.
Yeah, I was listening. I think it was a podcast, and apparently people don't think about this, but I guess the hooves or the feet of deer are like really, really sharp. And I don't know the source of this, but I just remember, so I don't know if it's true, but somebody hit a deer and the deer got in like the front seat and busted the windshield. But the driver actually died because the deer was thrashing about and the hooves cut their throat.
Aye.
You can take that out if you want.
That's a little dark, but that's interesting. So it's not like Tommy Boy, where don't put the deer in.
Yeah,
your
I was
back
gonna
here.
think of the Tommy Boy. I was like,
so when I saw the deer, that's what I was thinking of. That's what I was thinking about. And I think sometimes the antlers do, if they puncture people or whatever. If they, anyway, there's lots of different ways somebody can die from a deer in a hitting him with a car.
Well,
so
car accidents are like a major or leading cause of death, anyways. And then
yeah.
So
anyway.
Well,
but you asked me what I thought about it, right?
Yeah, what did you think about it?
I mean, I liked it when the guy's finger and then the rest of him like basically rotted off. That was kind of cool. Yeah, that was my favorite part.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and get to our water tower rating. Out of 5 water towers, how many would you give this episode of Animaniacs? Nathan, let's start with you.
I'll give it 3.5 because it had a song and I did learn some things in it. The Pinky and the Brain episode wasn't too bad. And the Leaf one had some cool animation. And I did research some things and I learned more things about pufferfish and deer and lorises. So I feel good about it. 3.5.
Kelly, what about you?
I'm gonna do it 2. Usually I like the Pinky and the Brain episode or segment a lot more than the Warner segment, which I still did, but I don't know. I bringing back Julia in this way, I still felt bad for her, and I just didn't think it was that funny. I mean, the plot itself, I guess, it's okay. It was kind of creative. The whole AI generated reality. I mean, it reminded me a little bit of WandaVision, actually.
Yeah.
And I really like WandaVision, so that was kind of cool. But I don't know, just the dialogue didn't grab me. It just, I don't know. Usually I enjoy it more, and I really didn't like the Warner segment, even though I appreciate the message. It wasn't fun to watch,
right,
or listen to. I mean, it was just. And then the other segment is just, eh.
Yeah. I will give it 2. I think the biggest problem I have is, like Kelly was saying, it just wasn't that funny to me. When I like the small segments bigger than the bigger segments, there's a problem. At least I know there's a problem with it for myself. I didn't. The first Warner segment, the Warners looked also a little bit off. I can't really explain how. They looked weird sometimes. But yeah, I don't know. It just overall I kind of felt like it was almost like an autopilot episode where it just needed a little bit more work to get done. Like some more jokes. That would have been great. So yeah, just a 2 for me. Not terrible or anything, but I certainly, could have been a lot better. Well, let's go ahead and get to some contact information. Nathan, where can people find you online?
Joey, I'm on Twitter. DjangoFT, that's me.
Kelly, what about you?
I'm also on Twitter, Yoda Princess, YODAPRNCSS.
All right, the Animaniacast is on Twitter. It's on Facebook. It's on Instagram. We're on Threads, sort of. Whatever I can figure out to do with that. And TikTok stuff. TikTok. There's TikTok. And all this other stuff. And, of course, we're a proud member of the RetroZap Podcast Network. So head on over to RetroZap.com to see our archives over there. And, of course, we're on every other podcast player as well. And I'd like to thank RetroZap for having amazing content every single day. Check them out for awesome articles and podcasts. Oh, yeah. Well, that'll do it for us. So, for Nathan and Kelly, this is Joey saying good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
This podcast is not endorsed by Warner Brothers or Amblin Entertainment and is intended for entertainment and information purposes only. Animaniacs, Tiny Toon Adventures, Freakazoid, the Warner Brothers logo, all names, pictures, and sounds are registered trademarks and or copyrights of their respective trademark and copyright holders. All original content of this podcast is the intellectual property of the Animaniacast unless otherwise indicated.
Leftovers? What are leftovers?
It's uneaten food that you save for later.
I don't understand.
Food?
Yes.
That's
Yes.
uneaten.
And you lost me.